To sort of age myself, the '03 Clone Wars micro-series was my introduction to the Star Wars franchise as a whole. So I've always been a big fan of the Clone Wars era and have gravitated towards any clone-related stories or pieces of media in general. The book is arguably one of my favorite things from the entire Star Wars franchise, and even if it wasn't related to Star Wars, it still stands on its own as a very solid story. The story sees a newly formed Commando squad made up of sole survivors from previous squads that were at the Battle of Geonosis. Geonosis being a battle that was notorious for its loss of Commando squads due to improper training and just being out of their element for that type of battle. In this story, they're assigned to travel under the radar to a remote separatist-occupied planet to destroy a lab where an anti-clone chemical weapon is being made, and they are to take the chief scientist in alive. Of course, things don't always go according to plan, and the clones have to adapt to the hand that they're dealt. Along the way, they encounter a very green Padawan, all sorts of separatist forces, mercenary soldiers, and an opposing Mandalorian warrior. Despite what you might expect, our main protagonists are Omega Squad. Similar to most Commando squads, they fill the quota for your generic special ops squad archetypes. We have the leader, Niner. He's a very by-the-books type of guy when it comes to leading his team in this story. Fee is the jokester. He enjoys making people laugh and trying to crack jokes at the expense of usually a teen. He's the overall more laid-back member of the group, and he's the sniper/medic when necessary. Atine is the group's tech expert. Personality-wise, he's more reserved and serious than anyone else in the group. He also initially doesn't fit in as well socially due to having a different training sergeant on Commando. And then there's Darman, aka Dar. Darman is the team's explosive expert, and overall he's the more level-headed and calm one throughout the entire series, although there are some moments where his emotions do get the best of him. If one clone were to be described as the main protagonist, it would probably be Dar, but overall all the clones are on the same level playing field when it comes to screen time or character development. Despite sounding a little tropey with their character types, Omega Squad are a very well-developed and lovable band of brothers. Throughout the book, we get to see them grow both as individuals and as a well-oiled machine. Travis's writing style does a very good job with putting you in the shoes of a clone. This is the second mission these clones have ever been on. Most of their lives have been spent on Commando in simulation combat and just training in general. The advantage to this is the reader and the clones are both experiencing certain things at the same time, so we don't have the issue where someone will have to give an as you know type of style of exposition. This also works making flashbacks seem much more organic, or having them reminisce about their training seem more organic. When one of them quotes Cal Skirata, their original trainer, or Vo in a teen's case, or when Travis tells us about their training, it's usually tying into a situation that the clones have at hand. Travis's military background also shines through, making the clones seem like genuine soldiers. Between them breaking down their plans and tactics, them using certain military lingo, and just the way that the action scenes are written, it all has a very real feeling to it compared to other Star Wars stories. We are also briefly shown how the clones interact as their own subpopulation among the Republic. Though not as much as in books like 000, we do get to see the social separation between the different types of variants of clones. An example of this in other media would be how the Bad Batch act around, quote, regs.
Don't you have, some places to be?
No, I'll stay.
You want to sit with us? That's never happened before. Check it out. The Defect Squad's got themselves a new recruit. Another member added to the Sad Batch.
Due to the differences in some of their genetics, different variants of clones tend to stick together more often than not. The Commandos will usually hang out together, the ARC Troopers usually hang out on their own, Base Troopers hang out by themselves. There isn't very much cross-pollination between the different types of clones. Another fun part about this book is the amount of Mandalorian culture that you get to learn. Between Hokan, who is the antagonist Mandalorian, and some of Omega Squad, we get to learn a lot about the Mandalorian language, how they view their friends, family, combat, and many more aspects of their life. We also get the other side of the coin with Atine. Atine was trained by Vo, another Mandalorian instructor on Commando, who wasn't necessarily as into making his clones feel like true Mandalorians as much as Skirata was. The only major complaint I really have for the book is Travis sometimes likes to really hammer in certain points that she wants to make. It's not as bad as in a future book like 000 in my opinion, but it's still noticeable in here. The big idea that she really likes to hammer in is the idea that the clones are technically slaves to the Republic and being robbed of a natural, enjoyable life. It's not that big of a deal in here. It's not as bad, in my opinion, as it is in 000, but it's still brought up enough to kind of take you out of the story due to the amount of times that it's being mentioned. Overall, it's a very well-written story and a good insight on the clones' perspective of the Clone Wars. I highly recommend you check this out if you're a Clone Wars fan, or if you aren't into the Clone Wars and wish you could be. I think this is a very good entry point to get you more into that aspect of the Star Wars saga. There's also a very well-made audiobook made by fans here on YouTube that I will put the link for in the description. They do a very good job and have made it through Hard Contact, and they're currently working on 000, I believe. So go and check out their videos if you don't want to read the book and want a nice audiobook format. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and may the Force be with you.